Thank you for joining us for another episode of A Letter To, where we discuss matters of the heart. And today we have another special guest who is with us, and I'm so excited to welcome her to our platform. Tell our guests who you are.
Thank you for having me. My
Yes.
name is Martha Lane. I have the pleasure of sitting on this amazing platform and talking about a letter to.
Yes.
I am a little nervous today because I'm not normally transparent, but I definitely believe that this episode is going to bless someone.
Yes, definitely. Transparency is not always easy, but it'll help you, and then you never know who's going to be able to help in the audience. As you know, this episode was given to me, and it's just to discuss matters of the heart. And basically, our logo, the little child lost, the LCL, the little child coming out of a broken heart. A lot of times, as I forestated in episodes before, is that there's a little child in each and every one of us, and sometimes we have to deal with the issues that that little child is crying from the heart. I know that there are many issues that I didn't deal with as a child
Absolutely.
and grew up with them not knowing that they were still bothering me. But eventually I had to deal with those. Now, this episode is not about my issues, though. Okay, we'll get to that one day, not today. Hey,
But it's coming.
it's coming. I done told her she's trying to push me into doing it. I'm not gonna do it. But we are here today to this, which leads us to this segue with Martha, talking about matters of her heart, things that she may have dealt with that she may not have actually addressed or ever even just really exposed. Some things we have to expose to the light. I mean,
Absolutely.
even if you have a sore and you put a band-aid on it, you can only keep the band-aid on it
For
so
so long.
long
That's
because
right.
it has to be exposed to the air,
That's right.
because whatever particles in the air can help heal it. The
That's
scab
right.
will come. And so this is a part of our healing journey. So, Martha,
Yes.
since this is a moment of transparency for you, can you lead us into a matter of your heart that you want to discuss with us today?
Yeah, sure. Like I said, I'm not normally transparent about a lot of the things that I have gone through growing up. However, um, or maybe I should say, I don't necessarily volunteer information, but
Okay,
if I'm asked and God give me the discernment to share, I will definitely do that.
definitely.
So whatever questions you ask me, I will be obedient, to share to the
Right.
extent of what God has given me to share.
I appreciate it.
But yeah, so originally born and raised in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Come on, Tennessee.
Come
Memphis
on,
over here.
Chat
Memphis.
Town.
Okay,
423 used to
okay.
be
Not a one,
615.
not a one. We're in a little trouble right now. Pray for us. Pray for my people down there. They're in a little trouble.
This is us, y'all. So it's totally fine.
Yeah, yeah, we good over here.
But yeah, so my mother was born and raised in Indianapolis, Indiana, and so later on in life, end up moving up to Indianapolis, Indiana, with her. And that's where a lot of, back to the point that you made with the band-aid, a lot of my childhood trauma
Wow.
began to expose itself. The older that I got, the more that I was exposed to in Indianapolis. It started off of obviously in Tennessee, but then
Okay.
it began to manifest itself. And then later on in life, as I began to see, oh my gosh, I'm going through a lot. Why is this? And, good that you're saying a letter too, because that's what really started my healing
Okay.
is I started writing letters to God.
Oh wow. Okay.
So
Okay.
to the point of how we got here is I didn't necessarily have a voice because of what happened to me in the violations that had occurred at a younger age. I didn't know how to articulate
Okay.
much of what I was experiencing. And so a
Okay.
lot of times I would just go ahead and write the letter to God.
So that kind of just before we even delve into your story, I know we talked about it before, but it just kind of you say you couldn't articulate or you couldn't even give voice to what was happening to you. Kind of sort of reminds me. I know we talked about it of Maya Angelou
Mm-hmm.
and how she just stopped talking and how it just completely shut her down because something happened to her when she was a little girl and then she lost her voice.
Mm-hmm.
Who knew Maya Angelou,
Wow.
the poet, the
Wow.
orator, would have come from that,
Yes.
from that background of
Mhm.
being hurt as a child to where she was silenced, and then she found her voice again. So you led us into this. So let's talk about it. So as it relates to what happened to you. So something happened to you when you were young.
Mhm.
How old were you when something happened to you?
So I would probably say the first violation occurred.
First.
Mhm. Yeah. So the first violation occurred maybe about 5, 6. Yeah, I believe about 5 or 6. Um,
5 or 6 years
mhm.
old. Wow, you
Yep.
were. That's hard,
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah. And at the time, my family was going through a lot. Something tragic had happened with my sister, and so a lot of attention, was going towards her, and I don't know if that pretty much gave free reign for this particular family member,
okay.
to kind of, you know, do what he did. It was a he. But yeah, and out of all of that, I never shared with my mother that particular time.
So you're 5 or 6 years old. This is, of course, you're talking at 5 and 6. You're playing with dolls. You're playing around the house. You probably sitting on uncle or sitting on whoever. Because as little children, we innocent. We don't suspect nothing. I mean, in
Absolutely.
a day like today, our children, definitely we guard our children more because of what we've seen
Right.
in society, or things that we've heard, or things that have happened basically, to
To
us.
us.
But here you are, you're a 5 or 6 year old, and something inappropriate happens to you. So of course you don't know how to articulate
Right.
that. You don't. You can't give voice to that. You probably were petrified at that time.
Yeah, I was. And then, honestly, like my mother at that time didn't start having conversations with my sister and I about if somebody touch you,
Okay.
or this is, like your parts that don't nobody touch or anything like that.
Right.
She hadn't started those conversations yet
Okay.
for
Okay.
me to know
This is wrong.
that it was wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, not
Okay.
saying that I probably knew that it was right, but I would say I didn't even I didn't know how to put it together to go tell.
Okay. Okay. If you wouldn't, honestly, you like I said before, you're 5 years old.
Mhm.
You don't. Yeah, you don't even know what to say.
Oh yeah.
You have no idea what to say. Okay, so this happens. You're 5 or 6 years old. Is this happens at that age? Is this a continual thing? So at the first time it happened, you don't know what to say.
Mhm.
What does the perpetrator do? They say anything?
So the the part okay, so anything about trauma, if you know anything about trauma, sometimes you have PTSD, right? And
Okay.
so some of it can be some of the acts can be selective,
Okay.
like you remember some and then some you don't.
Right. Right.
So in this case, the part that I remember, he was silent.
Okay.
And I believe that he was supposed to be getting me dressed to go.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So getting me dressed, as his niece, you don't think that that this person would do this or whatnot. And for I want to put a little context behind it for any family member that may be watching. Um, this particular aunt or this particular uncle, I'm sorry, my grandmother also raised, like we were in a household where like, girl, back in the day, folks would
Yes.
stand together.
Yeah.
So we had
There's
like,
a lot of us
yeah,
can
so
say with
we
my
had like,
auntie.
yeah, like 2, 3 families living
Yeah.
together at the
Yeah. It
time.
was a lot of
And
us
so
too.
it was a family that my grandmother had brought in to,
Okay.
to take care of. And
Okay.
so all I knew was that this person was my uncle. Of course, later on, I realized that he biologically wasn't, but at the time, I thought he was my uncle.
Oh, okay. So grandmother had allowed somebody to stay, and how sometimes you have people and you just start calling them your
Yeah,
cousin.
yeah,
Oh, that's my cousin
yeah.
because we grew up
Right,
together.
yeah.
So it was one of those type of things. And at
It
that
was,
age, of course, you wouldn't know that he's not
right, yeah.
really my uncle.
Hmm.
Okay, so you're 5 or 6 years old. This happens. He's supposed to be getting you dressed. and then this happens, and
Mhm.
you keep it, and so it's just a continual.
So I do remember one other time, and then no more after that.
Okay,
We
okay,
eventually moved to Indiana.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So one other time after that, I was looking outside. My sister and I will play all the time outside, and so I was looking out the window, waiting on her to come downstairs, and he got on his knees and kind of like went behind me again and started to do whatever he was doing. Um, and at that point, I ran outside.
How old were you then?
I was probably around the same age.
Still around the same age. That's devastating. And then yeah, at your age, I mean, at 5 or 6 years old, a lot of things you're not going to remember
Right.
because you tried to bury it because it was ugly. It
Hmm.
was, I don't understand this, basically. And then as you got older, and then you saw things happen to other people, or that, because back, when we were younger, it wasn't a whole lot of attention brought to that. It wasn't a
That's
whole a
absolutely,
whole lot of,
absolutely,
because we lived in the era of what happens
baby,
in the house
stays
stays
in
in
the
the
house.
house.
Absolutely.
And a lot of stuff that happened in people's houses,
Yeah.
people just were not giving, were not allowed to
To
give voice to it.
absolutely.
And so everything was a secret back then.
Hmm.
So of course it's something that's buried, and then sometimes people don't remember stuff, things, until it's a trigger.
Yes.
So were there triggers?
Yes.
Okay.
So moved to Indiana, um, and I found another family member. Um, ooh, so I found another family member in my room, and I wasn't there. And so I went and I told my mother, and she confronted this family member who was living with us at the time. And but I think around this time, because I was a little older,
Okay.
so that was a trigger, but I still hadn't shared with my mother what happened. But I
Okay.
do
Okay.
remember around this time, my mother was having conversations like, if anybody, my mama's a G, okay? She
Come
would be
on,
like,
G.
she would be like, if anybody mess with you, touch you, you let me know, this, that, and whatever. So she always at a certain age,
Okay.
had that communication with me and my sister, like, you let me know if this happened or,
Right.
whatever. But here's the deal. I mean, I think that this is very important too. Then people always brought up, or family members, or whatever whoever your person is that's talking to
Right.
you, will bring up a conversation, but never say why.
Yes.
So
Yes.
while my mother was saying, y'all
Yes.
let me know if somebody was touching you and
Because
doing this, not realizing, had my mother said, because such this has
because
happened to me.
somebody else, yes,
Absolutely.
yes,
I
yes.
probably could have put voice, and I probably could have articulated at the time, oh, well, mama, let me tell you, this, that, and the other. But instead, because I lived in a very volatile home, I put together violence. I put together a lot of confrontation was violence to me,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So I didn't want to ruffle any feathers.
Okay.
If I told my mom, somebody was going to die. I mean, I'm serious. Somebody was going to die,
As they should.
and probably as they should have, per my mother, right?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not
But
violent, but
she ain't violent.
why is you touching the
However,
children? We want to know. I'm just saying. If you watching,
right? Yeah, don't do that.
stop.
Um, so that's why I didn't tell my mother,
I
but she
think
did
I
confront
think
the
you
other
made
person.
a really vital point, as far as, if if mama, or if a relative comes to you and they say, let us know if anything happens to you, make sure you give voice, make sure you let us know if something happens to you. They're saying that because something has happened to somebody,
Somebody, yeah.
whether it's been parent,
Mm-hmm.
or they heard from another niece or cousin that something happened to them. And if they give you the reason why they're saying that, it will make you feel empowered. It reminds me of a production that I wrote in Memphis. It was the last production I did in Memphis, and it was called "Don't Close Your Eyes." and it was about a
Look that
young.
up.
Yeah, look that up. It was called "Don't Close Your Eyes" because it was about a young lady that had been molested. She was married now, though. She was married. She had a husband, but she didn't want any children.
Mm,
The reason why she didn't want children is because she was molested.
mm,
But she never told her father who
mm,
the molester was. And in her keeping silent, the person that molested her ended up coming back to the church and working
mm.
in the church as the father's assistant, and ended up molesting her stepsister, who was like 16 years old. But because she never never told her dad what happened to her, he didn't know to keep an eye on the
That's
guy
right.
or to not hire the guy back.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, of course, she dealt with the guilt of it. Felt really bad once she
Right.
found out what happened to her sister. But I think that that leads me to think that, yeah, if that happens, it needs to be
It
exposed.
does. It
It
does.
needs to
It
be
needs to be
exposed.
exposed.
It needs to be exposed.
I think because it wasn't exposed early on, it happened to other family members in my family.
Oh my gosh.
Hmm.
Yeah, so exposure, I mean, is everything,
It
and this,
is.
and we're bringing light to this, and we're talking about it now. We're not done talking about it, but we're just gonna push pause for a minute because for anybody that's watching it or that'll see it later, if you're worried about something happening to your child or your cousins or people that you know, make sure you express to them why it's important
Yes.
for them to tell you. Uncle Johnny just got out of jail and he was in jail because he raped somebody or he molested somebody. So make sure when Uncle Johnny come over, you stay by me
Right.
or don't sit
Right.
on Uncle Johnny's lap.
Lab. Yeah. Yeah.
So that voice needs to be
Yeah.
given. So
Not that you want to look at Uncle Johnny as he this, this monster,
right.
but at the same time, you need to be aware of what Uncle Johnny possessed. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Because
Yes.
something may happen. He may feels like that he's a changed person. By all means, we do know that God can do that, but we don't know what trigger a person.
Yes.
And with the way that some of us built, even at early ages, that may be a trigger for Uncle Johnny. So we just want to
Yeah.
again make
Milk does a
sure
body good for
it
some of these
does.
young
It
people.
does. I mean, some of these people out here looking like a bottle of
Yeah.
vitamin D.
Yeah.
So
Vitamin D.
you said milk, so okay. No plug. We didn't say the brand. We just saying lactose free. Okay.
Some of them out here just looking a little well proportioned.
Just
That's what she's trying to say.
that's all. That's all
A
I'm
little well
saying.
proportioned. And so yeah, I mean, you would. It's sad to know that people find children attractive.
Yeah.
It's really sad.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
really sad.
And and I wanna say, you guys, it's not that we're making light of anything.
Not at all.
I'm able to have this conversation because I'm healed.
Thank you.
So
God.
if you're not healed, if you feel like, hey, I don't want to watch this because they're laughing and they're right now you're talking to two people that have gone through some things in life that are healed from a situation to where I thank God that I'm able to one open up and
Yes.
have the conversation,
Yes.
but two, not bring tears to my eyes anymore
Right.
because I felt like that I'm still lost or I'm still in prison,
Yes.
mentally behind what happened to me as a child.
Definitely. Definitely.
So definitely
So
wanted to
you're
kind of
looking
put that
at
out
a
there.
healed
A
woman.
healed woman.
And it's all because she said that she was writing letters to God. So any type of trauma, you have to deal with it. And I think I've said this before, but for me, just one of my when I did deal with some trauma, as far as like losing somebody, I went to counseling.
Mm-hmm.
I also wrote letters, like she said. At first, I couldn't write a letter, but I got to the point that I was able to write the letter because it's just important to get it out. Yeah, it's important to get whatever it is out because it can build and turn into anger, hatred,
Mm. Mm.
hatred. You can't even stand to see them walk into the
Mm.
room. If they come in the room, you got to walk out the door. And some of these people are, like we said, family members.
Yeah.
It may not be molestation. It may not, but it could be anything that you have.
Absolutely.
And then when you see them, you can't even be in the room with them. They what? Don't give them that much power
Don't,
over
that's
you.
it right there. That's what it is. It's the power. But another thing that I talk about too, along with, hatred and, anger and all of this other stuff is because I eventually end up having children of my own, but I will watch for different signs, right? Like,
Yeah, definitely.
why is this child at, 8, 9 years old still, maybe wetting the bed? Or why is this child at 6 and 7 with this nasty attitude? Well, we know that, especially if it's a girl, right? Has she started her cycle early?
Okay.
Or you know what I'm saying, like different things, why is she going all off, or like you said, angry all the time, or mad, or or always, something happened with this particular person comes in the room. I think a lot of times we fail to look at different signs, especially in our era, because it was a child go play,
Yes.
do as I say, not as I do,
Yes.
stay in a child's place,
That's their favorite one.
watch your mouth,
Yeah.
and if you think about all of those were signs
Yes.
for me not to communicate.
Stay in a child's place.
Do as I say and
Do
not
as
as I
I
do.
say and not as I do. What was the other one?
And the other one was go outside and play. That probably wasn't it.
That wasn't
But
it.
you know what I'm saying?
But
So
all of those were
it
like telltale signs for you to not voice.
yeah. Yeah. Watch your mouth.
Because shut up.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes,
You
yes,
know,
and all of those things because I remember as I remember as a child, my mother used to say, tell the truth. If you tell me the truth, I'm not gonna whoop you. Or she would just
ooh,
say, tell me the truth. Well, you think you're gonna get a beating if you tell the
if you tell
truth,
the truth.
so
So
you
why
just
tell the
gonna
truth?
keep lying.
Hmm.
And then when you tell the truth,
And you get a whooping.
you get the beat down.
So you tell me
So it ain't
what
no
you want.
win-win.
It's not. And it wasn't.
It's a lose-lose. So I can't give voice right now, mama.
Yeah.
I didn't do it.
Yeah. And so what is that? So in that moment, we're being taught,
Oh
right?
my goodness.
That's a
Yeah.
teaching moment.
Yes.
And you just taught me not to use my voice.
You taught me that I can't
You
tell you.
can't,
I can't tell
absolutely,
you
I can't
anything.
tell you, yes,
I can't trust you.
I can't trust you with the truth.
That's deep.
I can't trust you with the truth. So a lot of times we don't tell the truth.
That's deep,
I'm telling
Mar.
you, sis.
That's deep.
And because of that, here's the trigger. Because of that, I grew up, even in my intimate relationships,
Not telling.
not telling
talking.
the truth.
Mm.
Because if I told, I say now, don't ask a question that you really don't want to know the answer to.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah.
But then I didn't know that saying, right? So I was just like,
Kept
okay,
a lot. And it also causes you, even in relationships, it causes you to take more than you would because you can't you're not even able to voice,
right,
nah, I don't like that.
right.
Or no, don't talk to me like that. Or
Hmm.
no, don't do that
Hmm.
because it's learned behavior.
Behavior.
Wow.
Yeah. And then of course, because it's learned behavior, guess what? I'm not really being my authentic self.
And I refuse. We ain't gonna talk about that right now. But yeah, I definitely you because when you're not being your authentic self, you are denying the person, the real you,
Hmm.
and you're dumbing you down too.
Yeah.
You're dumbing you down. So I wanted to go back though a little bit because you said because you didn't use your voice, you
Hmm.
found out later some other relatives fell prey to this person.
Hmm. A different family member.
Do you
So it was different family members that
okay?
was doing different family members.
Also, it wasn't the same person.
Once I left Tennessee,
Okay.
I no longer saw that person again until I was probably in my 30s.
Okay, let's visit that. So, in your 30s, and I got to make sure I remember this other question. In your 30s, when you did see that person, how did it make you feel? Because you
Um,
buried it now, because you buried it.
mhm.
At that time, was it when you saw them, did everything come, some of your memories come flooding back? Did you remember that it was him?
I remember that it was him. What's that Eminem song say when he say palms are sweaty? Okay,
I don't
anyways.
know Eminem song.
Anyways.
I mean,
So
I know some rap, but I don't know him.
but my palms started to sweat, and one person that
Oh
knew
my gosh.
was my sister.
So you
And
did tell your sister.
I told my sister because my sister told me that he done the same thing to her. So that was something that we had shared.
Hold on, stop, wait, pump the brakes. So he had molested both you and your sister? How old were you when you found out your sister? He did something to your sister.
I can't remember how old. I can't remember. Um, so a lot of times, what happens, the predator will say, "Don't say anything unless I'm gonna do this
Yes.
to you know what I'm saying to
Right, right,
somebody else, whatever."
right.
So I can't say, so I'm not going to put that out there that that's exactly what this person said. I don't know to be true, but I know that at the time I didn't know that it happened to my sister until we were older enough to talk about it.
Okay. Okay. So
Um,
so you were in that room and you were in your 30s and he walks in the room. Your palms start sweating.
and by this time I was with my husband. We weren't married at the time, but I was like, do I tell him? At this point, do I even tell my mother?
So at 30 you had not told mama yet?
Mm-mm.
Oh, I noticed I say wow a lot. I'm working on it. But oh my goodness.
Yeah. Because at this point, I think the reason that I didn't tell my mother, um, there's a lot more to the story of what happened to me. To so much so that at one point I thought it was me because it kept happening.
Huh?
It like different
Like
situations
different
with.
situations, not the same guy, but
Mhm.
this happened to you again
Yes, like it was like things with.
multiple times.
Yes, over and over again. I'm like, what? So then I began to think like, well, what am I doing? What? And I've always been like this skinny little bitty girl, whatever. But I always had the personality that I
Okay,
have now,
the big
the
personality.
big personality.
Right.
So I think it was, and I was always like, quote unquote, green, you know.
Mm.
Um,
Martha, you got to bag up now. So this has happened to you more than once,
hmm
more than when you were 5 and 6.
hmm
Different people,
hmm
family members,
hmm Yep.
different family members.
hmm
Okay.
Yep. Yep. Different
So
family
he
members.
is not the only one that you've had to face.
Nope.
So let's talk about when you see these individuals for the first time and then when you see them now. Because we're looking at a healed person right now.
hmm
But let's talk about when you first, okay, so when you saw the gentleman in your 30s, palm sweaty, should I tell my mom? Should I tell my dad? Should I tell my husband at the time, boyfriend, fiance? Should I tell him? So what happened that day?
I told.
Okay.
I did.
And
I did tell. I told after the fact that we were in this encounter, like
okay.
we were. So I told my mother, and just as I thought,
She was ready to flip over tables
she was ready
and
to. She was ready to do the rest of her time in jail. Um, but
get him mom.
she was
Get him.
ready. She was ready.
Get him mom.
Um,
Get me cheering on.
I think, as a matter of fact, I end up telling. I end up telling like other family members as well. I think once I was able to open up my mouth and tell that one person,
Right.
I was kind of able to tell a couple. Like, guess who I saw? And guess what he did? And that was the last time I seen him. You know, it was kind of one of those. Um, but I wasn't angry.
Okay.
Maybe because I had done the work.
Okay.
Um, but it wasn't a hey, Uncle such and such. It was a I'm gonna go around you,
Okay.
like a dodge thing. But hey, isn't that,
Mm-hmm.
and I just kind of like walked away or whatever.
Was it when you finally told mama, husband, and the few people that you told, was it freeing? I know you said that.
It was.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
was.
Okay.
Um, it was another. It's like an onion. It was just like another layer. another layer that was just
Right.
being removed. That I didn't realize that peeling that part off of telling freed me. It didn't smell as much. If I continue to
Ooh,
use the analogy of the onion,
onion. Yes, yes.
it wasn't strong enough.
Oh,
Um,
that's good,
you know
Mike.
what I'm saying? To like really like make the tears come, because I had already put in the work. So now the tears
Yes,
is getting
yes.
lighter and lighter where it's not as
Not strong.
strong. To my abusers, I recognize the lie. No longer will I let you define me.